Welcome back, everybody, to today's show. I hope you're doing amazing. We have a lot to get into today. Alex Jones panicking about Trump's health. That's kind of surprising. The latest culture war from MAGA, which is Cracker Barrel. That'll be fascinating. And a lot more. First, though, a little bit of a programming note and just an announcement, which is that I'm headed to Ukraine. I've been talking about something that's going to disrupt the show a little bit in the form of a trip. Many of you guessed exactly what it was, which is Kalen Robertson, who we've had on the show now a few times, invited me to join him in Ukraine and to see it for myself and be on the ground, talk to people there. Such a pivotal moment. And so, number one, I want you all to know that, because over the coming days, and I will be a little bit vague about the specifics of when I'm leaving, when I'm getting there, when I'm coming back, just for the sake of safety and privacy. But over some time in the coming days, you'll start getting updates. And the point is to give you an on-the-ground report about what's happening in such a pivotal time. But I also want you all to know, just on a programming note, because it will disrupt. It's not going to stop the show for the next few days. But as I'm traveling, content will be less consistent. Once I get there, I'm going to try to figure out how to do even not just Ukraine stories, but other things while I'm there as well. So do be keeping up with YouTube. And then also, if you go to Instagram or Twitter, I'll be giving quicker, more casual updates there if you want to follow that. But why I'm going, number one, because Kalen invited, but number two, it's something I've wanted to do for a long time. I think that there are so many incredible people providing accurate, factual information on the ground, but I wanted to do it myself, and I want to give you all an on-the-ground look, straight from me as the source of Ukraine, a country that's just defending itself, especially when so much misinformation is swirling. I think nothing is quite like actually being there, and this is a particularly important time, with it not just being the fate of Ukraine on the line, and not just being how the United States stands and all that, but just what's the standing of democracy versus autocracy. And it's scary when we see the Putin and Trump summit, and sometimes Trump seeming all too willing to be played by Putin over and over. And so all of those events, I want to get a perspective of them actually in Ukraine. So just again, on a programming front, wait, whenever things get posted, it won't be as consistent. It might be a bunch this day and then none the next day, but try to keep up as much as you can. And I think it'll be a really impactful experience, and I'll be keeping up to date all the way. Now, one little note on sort of the housekeeping things to get out of the way before getting into some of the stories today. We completely reject corporate sponsors. Totally understand other people doing ad read, makes total sense. But we've started just being really strict about, other than PEP, I'm not going to promote that right now, but other than my company, rejecting, so that you're not always having to stop the show and hear me say, well, this is the best product and this is the best product. And when I bring something to you, I really mean it. But what that means is that the options for business revenue then get crunched down, and it just is y'all. You watch videos, obviously YouTube automatically runs ads on those, but in terms of things that we facilitate and accept, it's just memberships, or, and this gets to the other little announcement, many of you have asked, I don't really want to get another subscription, but I do want to support your show in some way. And I think this is quite the time to be speaking about it, because other journalists will have CNN backing them, or the Associated Press, and funding trips and truth-seeking ventures, on-the-ground reporting like what this trip is intended to be. And so if you want to be the sponsor, if you want to be the person, one of the amazing people who funds a trip like this, a truth-seeking adventure like this, you can do it by going to givebutter.com/TLBS. givebutter.com/TLBS. And what we're hoping is that we can continue doing this show and funding any trips, any reporting ventures like this, just through y'all, and not having to constantly stop to read out different corporate sponsors. So again, that's givebutter.com/TLBS. That's the way you can just do a one-time contribution. If you want to be a one-time sponsor, that's how you can do it. And we'll find a way to thank you through videos and stuff, because it does mean a lot. And then as always, if you want to click the join button and become a reoccurring member and get members only content, you can do that as well. You all are the ones who make all of this, trips like this and just our daily show and having this incredible staff. You make it all possible. And it's really, in my mind, a miracle that it all happens. Now, I did have this video pulled up just to kind of lighten the mood for a second, of a meltdown that happened in an airport. And as I'm getting ready for my first international trip in quite some time, I'm hoping nothing happens on my route there or back that causes me to be this individual.
Travelers gasp. Whoa. Okay, so this all happened in Orlando at the Southwest Airlines terminal. The woman, who's been identified as 45-year-old Salomit Velez Rodriguez, is on video yelling at Southwest employees. Now, in that video, she yells obscenities, appears to kick an employee, and then she punches a monitor. Orlando police said the woman tried to get through that gate after it closed, and staffers asked her to stop. So other travelers at the airport were stunned by this outburst.
People have gotten real crazy. That's wild. I mean, you walk into places, they're just doing their jobs. Can't take it out on everybody.
True. There is a little bit of violence is terrible, obviously. But a flight delay or cancellation, we've all thought of punching a monitor. We've all thought like one or two times. Never of kicking someone, but of punching a monitor, we've all thought of it. So I'm hoping that won't be me. I'm hoping we'll have smooth travels all the way there and back. Now, on Ukraine, Trump did recently make news posting, it's very hard, if not impossible, to win a war without attacking an invader's country. It's like a great team in sports that has a fantastic defense, but is not allowed to play offense. There's no chance of winning. It's like that with Ukraine and Russia. Crooked and grossly incompetent Joe Biden would not let Ukraine fight back, only defend. How did that work out? Regardless, this is a war that would have never happened if I were president. Zero chance. Same thing there. Interesting times ahead. President DJT. I show that to you, number one, because it's notable. I guess he's saying he's endorsing, or he's not, we don't know, Ukraine going more on the offensive, which they have done. But it's been a defensive fight, mostly for obvious reasons. But he just swings all over the place. It is him and his counterparts when Ukraine does do something more offensive that starts freaking out, saying they're going to pull us into World War III, there's going to be nuclear war. And now I'm sure he just had this thought posted. The next post could be something super complimentary of Putin. He's all over the place. And it will be interesting to hear from people on the ground how they witness all of this, because we're so numb to Trump, I think. And I'm sure the rest of the world is a little bit too. But his mood fluctuations and the magnitude of effect they have, I'm curious to hear from more people on that in Ukraine. Then Vance.
What the hell happened to JD?
There we go. Had this to say.
Take us into the room, because we're all dying to know that.
Well, I think when President Zelensky walked into the Oval Office, I was chatting with him, with the president, with some of the senior Ukrainian delegation. I said, Mr. President, so long as you behave, I won't say anything. And he just chuckled a little bit. It was a good little icebreaker. I mean,
we have a good laugh. I'm good at talking with people. That's what a good icebreaker. You know, the last time y'all met, I'm sure Zelensky took it fine, but last time y'all met, you were screaming at him, and then you walk up, please behave, Zelensky. Do you get it? That's the most Vance. We laughed. It was a great, I laughed, but.
Like meeting Putin. Just what was he like, just one-on-one?
So I've actually never met Putin. The president did that meeting. I've talked to him on the phone a number of times. You know, it's interesting. He's more soft-spoken than you would necessarily expect. You know, the American media has a particular image of him. He's soft-spoken in a certain way. He's very deliberate. He's very careful. And I think fundamentally he's a person who looks out for the interests, as he sees it, of Russia. And I think one of the reasons he respects the President of the United States is because he knows the president looks out for the interests of the American people. And while they often disagree about issues, and obviously the president has been very critical of Vladimir Putin, the president's also willing to work with anybody if he thinks it's going to accomplish an important goal for America. And we all agree an important goal is to stop the killing.
Yeah. well, you do have to act in the interest of that too, which is the criticism. They all do this. I don't know what the lack of maturity is or something that causes Vance and then obviously Trump and a lot of others, Witkoff, to be so wowed when Putin is polite talking to them. And that is enough for them to go, oh, maybe the Western media has treated him incorrectly by saying he's a mass murderer because he was nice to me. He was nice to me. How do you not understand? Well, because he has a lot to gain from being nice to you. He's professionally a manipulator. That is a completely irrelevant anecdote to me. So that's it on the Ukraine of today's show. Big news. I'll keep you updated as we go. And do keep up with it.